The Chosen One's Journey by Dragonwolf 12. Ash walked into the registration center and looked around. In front of each of the desks was a large tank of water, with a couple of Magikarp swimming around in them. "What's all this?" Misty wondered aloud as she came up next to Ash. "Not a clue," Ash said. He looked around, hoping to see the long, blonde hair of Cynthia, but was disappointed. However, he did see a familiar face fishing in the closest tank. "Hey, Richie!" he called, walking up to the trainer. "Oh, hey, Ash! How's it going?" he asked. Suddenly, the fishing pole started shaking, and Richie pulled it from the tank. "B5, the attendant said. "You're the first in that block. Your Pokédex will inform you when your opponent has been selected." "Okay, thank you," Richie said. The attendant smiled at him and returned the Magikarp to a Pokéball. "So, this is how we select our opponents?" Ash asked. "Interesting," Brock commented. "This prevents anyone from interfering with the matchups." "Exactly," the attendant said. "Will Ash Ketchum of Pallet Town step up?" a voice called from another desk. "That's me," Ash said, as he hurried over and took the fishing rod waiting in the next tank. Dipping it in the water, he waited until one of the Magikarp bit into the hook and yanked it back out. His strong muscles were easily able to hold the flailing fish as the attendant read the number on the Pokemon's side. "A3, she said. "Your opponent is..." She trailed off and gestured to the screen, returning the Magikarp to a Pokeball. A picture of Ash appeared on the screen, then shrunk to half its size as his opponent's picture appeared next to his. Ash let out a gasp as he saw his opponent. In his mind, Charizard let out a mighty roar. "He's mine!" he growled angrily. Ash smirked. With absolute pleasure, he thought, because his next opponent was none other than Charizard's previous owner, Damien. Ash stood with a single Pokeball in his hand, glaring heatedly across the stadium at his opponent. Damien looked back with a cocky smile on his face, assured he would win. The judge for the match took his position as the MC prattled on about their achievements. "This is a 3-on-3 Pokemon battle," the judge said. "The winner shall be declared when all three of one side's Pokemon are unable to battle. Substitutions are allowed. Let the battle begin." "Let's get this over with," Damien said cockily. "Nidoking, I choose you!" He threw his Pokeball and released a massive drill Pokemon to the field. "Hey, Damien!" Ash yelled. "Do you remember that Charmander you released? He'd like to say hi!" With that, Ash threw his Pokeball to the field and released the massive Flame Pokemon. The Fire-Flying type was glowing with rage as he glared at Damien. "What?" Damien said in shock, staring at the powerful Pokemon across from him. "That's impossible! That Charizard was so weak he couldn't beat a Bellsprout!" Charizard snorted and released a massive roar that created a shockwave, which kicked up dust across the field. "Nidoking, finish this now with Hyper Beam!" Damien shouted. Nidoking reared up as an orange orb of energy formed in front of his open maw and fired a powerful beam of orange energy at Charizard. Dodge, Ash thought. He wanted Damien to feel as scared of his former Pokemon as possible, so he planned to do this entire battle silently. No holding back. Charizard flared his wings and leapt into the air, easily dodging the attack. "Now, get in close and use Metal Claw," Ash ordered. Charizard's claws lengthened and hardened into steel. He flew down the field at impossible speeds and slashed his iron-hard claws across Nidoking. The drill Pokemon roared in pain as Charizard passed him by. "Nidoking, use Horn Drill!" Damien ordered. "Back off and use Heat Wave," Ash said. Nidoking's horn started rotating quickly as he charged towards Charizard. The Flame Pokemon flared his wings and flew up high out of range of Nidoking. He started flapping his wings harder and released a wind of flames down at Nidoking, who cringed as the flames slammed into him. "Use Stone Edge!" Damien ordered, angry that his attacks kept missing. Two white circles formed around Nidoking. They broke apart and formed into several jagged stones as they orbited around Nidoking. The drill Pokemon roared as he launched them at Charizard. "Defend yourself with Steel Wing!" Ash said quickly. Charizard's wings grew iron-hard as they were covered in a metallic sheen. He quickly folded them in front of his body just as the stone edge slammed into him. Most of the stones bounced off of Charizard's steel wing, but some managed to hit unprotected parts of his body. Grunting in pain, Charizard quickly flared his wings and flew down and slashed Nidoking with his steel-hard wings. "Hyper Beam, Nidoking!" Damien shouted in fury. Nidoking opened his mouth and began charging the powerful attack. "Dodge it at the last second, then use Fire Blast," Ash thought. Nidoking fired. The powerful beam of energy roared down the field right at Charizard. At the last second, Charizard flared his wings and took to the sky. He glared at Damien and launched a powerful blast of fire at Nidoking. The flames took on the shape of a 5-pointed star and slammed into the drill Pokemon. The field rocked as smoke surrounded the whole place. When the fumes cleared, Nidoking was revealed unconscious. "Nidoking is unable to battle! Charizard wins!" the judge announced. "Ngah! Nidoking, return!" Damien growled, pulling his Pokemon back to its Pokeball. "Machamp, I choose you!" With a burst of light, the four-armed superpower Pokemon appeared on the field. Charizard snorted derisively as Machamp flexed his muscles in an intimidating manner. "Let's wrap this up quick!" Damien said, getting his cockiness back with his new Pokemon. "Machamp, use Dynamic Punch!" Machamp raced down the field at Charizard as his arms started glowing with energy. "Block it with Mega Punch, then use Dragon Tail," Ash quickly countered. Charizard clenched his fist as an orb of energy surrounded it. With a roar, he charged at Machamp, and their fists met in the middle of the field with a crash of energy. As Machamp struggled to overpower the Fire Flying type, Charizard's tail started glowing bright green. He suddenly released the hold he had on Machamp, causing the Fire type to stumble in surprise, and swung around to nail him in the face with his tail. "Machamp!" it yelled in surprise as it went flying back towards its trainer. The superpower Pokemon was then enveloped in red energy as he was recalled back to his Pokeball, much to Damien's surprise. A moment later, another Pokeball burst out of Damien's waist, and a Fearow appeared on the field. Fearow shook its head slightly, as if just waking up, but quickly took to the air, ready for battle. Charizard followed suit only a moment later. Damien quickly shook off his surprise and grinned. "Whatever, it doesn't matter what I use to take down this weakling. Fearow, use Drill Peck!" Fearow's long sharp beak started spinning like a drill as it raced towards Charizard. "Block it with Steel Wing, then use Thunder Punch," Ash silently commanded. Charizard's wings took on a metallic glow as they became hard as steel, and he quickly folded them in front of his body. Not a moment later, Fearow slammed into Charizard, but did little damage. Charizard's small fist started crackling with energy as he unfurled his wings to stay in the air, and he punched Fearow hard. The big Pokemon squawked as the electricity coursed through it and went tumbling away. "Follow up with Dragon Breath," Ash ordered. "Fearow, use Aerial Ace!" Damien commanded. Fearow quickly righted itself and sped towards Charizard as a spiraling white energy surrounded it. Too quick for Charizard to dodge, the big Pokemon slammed into the Fire type, sending him crashing to the ground. "Get up, Charizard! Use Fire Blast!" Ash called mentally. Charizard leapt to his feet and took back to the air with fire in his eyes. Without even giving Fearow a chance to escape, he unleashed a massive burst of flame in the shape of a 5-pointed star. Fearow squawked as the attack hit it, sending it flying down to the field with a crash. "Now finish this with Dragon Rage!" Ash ordered. Charizard roared and unleashed a blue blast of energy from his maw. It took the shape of a massive dragon and crashed into Fearow and exploded. After a moment, Fearow was revealed to be completely unconscious. "Fearow is unable to battle! Charizard wins!" the judge announced. Damien was steaming with anger now as he recalled his Fearow. With no other choice, he threw out his Machamp for the final battle. "Use Focus Punch!" Damien ordered. Machamp's fist started glowing brightly as he ran down the field at Charizard. "Power up a Dragon Claw and catch it," Ash ordered. "Once he's close, use Fire Fang." Charizard's claws started glowing light blue, and just as Machamp's fist came at his stomach, he wrapped his hands around the attack. There was a shockwave as the conflicting energies met, and Charizard went sliding back with the power of the attack, but held strong. Once he knew he had Machamp, Charizard's mouth caught Blaze. He bit down on the fighting type's shoulder, causing it to howl in pain and back off. "Now, use flamethrower!" Ash ordered. Charizard took a deep breath and launched a barrage of flames at Machamp, severely burning the superpower Pokemon. Machamp whimpered slightly, even as Damien growled in anger. "Machamp, don't be a wimp!" he yelled. "Get in there and use Giga Impact!" Machamp got a determined look on his face and began charging at Charizard again. As it ran, a purple aura with spiraling streaks of gold surrounded it. "Flare Blitz!" Ash said. The flame Pokemon gained his own fiery red aura as he flew down the field at the charging. Charizard's attack was so powerful that the flames flashed and turned bright blue to signal a hotter flame. The two powerhouses met at the center of the field with an explosion that covered the whole stadium with smoke. After just moments, Charizard came flying out of the top of the smoke, wincing as the recoil damage was administered. "Now let's finish this! Use Aerial Ace!" Ash ordered. Flipping in midair, Charizard became surrounded with white streaks of energy with the focal point right in front of his snout. With barely a moment's thought, he flew back into the smoke, and using Ash's aura as a guide, crashed hard into the now frozen form of Machamp. The superpower Pokemon screamed in pain as the super effective attack hit it and sent it flying into the stadium walls. He slumped down on the ground in pain, waiting for blissful oblivion to come. "You had better get up, or else!" Damien all but shouted to his Pokemon. The spectators had gone silent as the match unfolded, and a good few of them heard Damien's statement. Murmurs of disapproval swept through the crowd, as those who didn't hear were quickly filled in. Machamp struggled to get up, valiantly managing to stand on its weak legs. "Damien!" Ash called, speaking for the first time since the match had begun. "Can't you see your Pokemon is severely injured? There's no shaming in calling it quits." "I don't care!" Damien shouted back. "Machamp, get up now and use Cross Chop!" Ash just sighed as he watched Machamp struggling to use the attack. "Charizard, put it out of its misery," he said. "Use Overheat!" Charizard's body started glowing red as he focused his flames on the next attack. After a moment, he opened his mouth and launched a beam of white-hot flames surrounded by a spiraling red flame at Machamp. The superpower Pokemon actually smiled slightly as the attack slammed into him, sending him instantly into unconsciousness. "Machamp is unable to battle," the judge announced. "Charizard wins. The victor is Ash Ketchum." Damien was vibrating with rage, and he was panting heavily. He stomped onto the field and right up to his Pokemon. With wild abandon, he started kicking Machamp while screaming, "You stupid, useless Pokemon! I should just send your Pokeball into the sea for this!" The whole stadium looked on in horror as Damien continued to kick his Pokemon. Charizard suddenly let out a roar of fury as he flew straight at Damien. Ash whipped out Charizard's Pokeball and returned him, knowing that Charizard would kill Damien if he had the chance. Not a moment later, a horde of Officer Jennies came rushing out to the stadium. The first one tackled Damien to the ground and started cuffing him. "You're under arrest for Pokemon abuse," she said, pulling him to his feet. "Nah, let go of me!" Damien shouted, raging and trying to get to his Pokemon. Ash just sighed as he walked out of the stadium. He wasn't interested in watching the idiot being carried off. He met his two friends just outside the stadium. "That was a good battle, Ash," Misty said. "I was surprised how Charizard acted, though," Brock said. "It's not really all that surprising," Ash said. "Damien was Charizard's first trainer." Their eyes widened. "Yeah, that does make sense," Misty said. "Anyway," Ash said, "Charizard's in a rage. I need to get somewhere safe where I can set Dragonite and Garchomp on him. They're just going to start wailing on each other until Charizard runs out of steam. It won't be pretty or quiet." Brock and Misty glanced at each other. "Maybe we should stay here," Brock said. "Will you be all right?" Misty asked. "Couldn't Charizard hurt you too?" "Nah, our bond will keep him from attacking me lethally," Ash said. "I may even get some aura practice in. No worries." "Well, if you're sure," Misty said. Ash nodded. They split up, Brock and Misty walking back to their cabin, and Ash heading into the nearby woods.